You see, I've noticed this post come up on social media that .gov put up, which I found quite weird. It was about introducing teeth brushing policies into schools, right? I
Yeah.
mean, we had all of this when we was growing up. So did my brothers, and it's been one of those fixtures. You got this blue sweet.
hmm
Like
Yeah.
I was saying to you, that the kids knew that if you drunk milk beforehand, because
Yeah.
a few other children from their reception time
hmm
had taken extra.
Yeah.
There was just basically just a tub of them, and there was more than enough to go
Uh-huh.
around. You put them in your mouth, and oh, look at this bluing in your mouth, like sort of
hmm
thing. I was like,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, now we're gonna brush it, and we all had these little mirrors and stuff, and then we started to do that. My brother's teeth, the enamel fell off.
Yeah.
In my family, we've got hereditary on both sides. I can't remember what it's called now. There's something in one side of my family, and something else is to do with the enamel. The enamel falls off,
Yeah.
or it's very weak enamel. So, and some family members have it really bad. Some family members don't have it at all. Some family members have it worse than others. But there's all such a variety of diet going on. So, but the thing is, when you think about it, why do certain primates lose their teeth? Because they'll say, "Oh, it's because you eat sweets, or you don't brush your teeth enough, or you don't do this."
Yeah.
But then when you look at primates,
Mhm.
some of them lose their teeth, and it's in your genetics that your body knows that you are potentially going to lose your teeth. Hence why you get wisdom teeth. That's what they're there for, to replace your teeth. So your body knows, and most of your bodies know, that your teeth are going to fall. Maybe quite a few of them. Hence why you get wisdom teeth. So the body's working on, let's say, over evolution. It's already working on that. So everyone's really sensitive on this topic of sweets. But the difference is, how come people in third world countries also lose their teeth? Man, it must be all the sweets they're shoveling in their mouths, right? It must be all of the bad food that they're eating,
Sweets they cannot afford.
right?
We
And why
do
is it
buy
some
them.
people in a third world country have their teeth, but a predominant amount do not? What's it got to do with them? That can't be sweets then, right? That's definitely not sweets. That is not lacking of diet, is it? A varied diet? Because then some would have a varied diet, you would say, and then others wouldn't. And then what about primates? Apparently we evolved from monkeys, chimpanzees, and whatever else, right?
Yeah.
As the story goes. And then why do some of these lose their teeth then,
Yeah.
and some don't? What's that got to do with? So on one argument, you can say it's got something to do with nutrition. A large amount of this is nutrition.
Yeah.
What about the new foods that we see being pushed out everywhere?
Yeah.
Now, everyone's like, "Oh, eat your greens, eat your greens, eat your salad." Do you know how much that costs? Yeah, have you seen how expensive that is? It's like
Yeah.
more expensive than other stuff.
Yeah.
And then if you've got a reduction on, let's say, some parents are on benefits, let's say,
Yeah. Yeah.
some are working but not making enough ends meet. So a cheap tin of, so you've got your own brand
hmm
type, let's say, beans.
Yeah.
And then you've got the expensive brand of beans. And I'll be like, there is no difference. Take them bad boys, turn them around and read the ingredients. Tell me which one's got a whole lot more in it and is far more cheaper, which you would think that the one with more in, especially with all of these chemicals and everything else, you would think that one would be more expensive because there's more gone into it.
Yeah.
And yet the more expensive one has a lot less in it. It seems to be more natural. And then ask another question. If then, let's say, solidarity to all you elites, you're going to be a bit more picky about what you're buying, let's say. You're going to be a bit more branded, right?
Yeah.
And you're probably going to eat a different variety of diet because you're never going to have to worry about food. You don't have to worry about watching the budget each time you go shopping. It's just get it all, bring it home. Whereas anyone who's on a lower income have to be very picky.
Yeah.
Am I going to be able to get, if I spend that's like 1 meal, £5 gone? Or am I going to spend that £5 and get 10 meals from it
Yeah.
as opposed to one?
Yeah.
However, it's got a lot of shit in it. And then am I going to get a salad, a leafy salad? And then you've got the pressure of no one gets bulky eating salad. That's for sure. Let's be realistic on that.
Yeah.
So there is a threat risk. Oh, your children, they're so underweight. They must be malnutritioned. Oh, they must be this. Let's take your kids. Or let's get in with a social program. Well, I've been feeding them. They've been eating lettuce and cabbage and cauliflower and all of their greens and leans.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then we'll look at that and think, that's interesting. That is very interesting. So that there's fear there. I think there's a lot of fear. You know, you've got to be a certain weight. You've got to fit this book here. Every child must fit this book. It's kind of a bit weird. But yeah, again, still, that's how it is. And then there are differences in different teeth ratio as a result of this. And we say that we have scientists and government have got scientists. Where are they?
Yeah.
Where are they in this? Now, is it down to the toothpaste? Is it because people aren't brushing their teeth? Well, I don't know. Yeah, in a third world country, they must be really brushing their gnashers and must not be brushing their gnashers, and that's probably why their teeth are decaying, yeah? But then why do some in that have teeth?
And good-looking teeth.
Good-looking teeth.
Yeah.
Pearly whites.
Yeah.
Nice. I wouldn't mind a set of them. So, in my life, I have tried different diets, many different diets, for over periods of years, and I haven't noticed a difference. But yet, what about if you have an underlying issue? Something that is starving nutrition.
Yeah.
So, if you're more prone to catching colds, is this starving your body of nutrition? Because that energy ain't free, and it's not like you can just re-eat it. It seems like it's over years worth we bulk up on this nutrition.
Yeah.
I don't think the body's got like an infinite amount of replenishing energy. It just seems quite weird to me. Very strange. Because if it were, then all plants would be able to work in clones, clone after clone after clone. But what we see when we clone plants is they get tired. No matter how much nutrition you put into that water solution, if you're doing it hydroponic, if you're doing it aquaponic, no matter how many times you use this clone after clone after clone, it gets tired. It lacks the nutrition. And why is that? It should be able to suck it up, right? It should be able to do that, right? Based on, nutrition and different things like that. So it seems like it's got X amount of nutrition and it is not replenishable after a certain X marks the spot, right?
Yeah.
And some plants are more glorious than other plants. Is that a nutrition or is that a genetic? And then is that why farmers pick certain seeds? Here, you can have these ones shot. They ain't going to amount to nothing, those crops, but we'll keep these ones. And you can tell from a seed whether it's going to be good enough or not. And that's very interesting, isn't it? You can also tell whether it's a male or female. Hermaphrodites as well. But, you can tell this just by looking at the seed ratio.
Yeah.
So we also have this type of genetic imprint also in the plant animals.
Yeah.
And then we've got it in our own species, which would say monkeys, primates, I should say. Some of them have got teeth, some of them ain't. And what's that down to then? They ain't brushing their teeth. They ain't filling their mouth with shit. They eat what we would consider quite a good diet. Even to the knowledge of rolling certain leaves just to get the hairs off of it in order to allow them to eat things that are more toxic, which is very interesting. So, but some of them have teeth, some of them do not. Some of them have decay, some don't. Some lose teeth, some don't. Well, that's because they're chewing on bamboo or whatnot, or shoots and roots and stuff. Okie dokie. So your teeth break because you chew on roots. If that can trigger it,
Yeah.
are we sure it's sugar and sweets? So I think it's a complicated issue, I think. Personally, I think this is a very complex situation. Much like there are many factors that are all panning into one pot. And that's why it seems to be quite tricky to identify it. Because there is more than one factor here. You have to level up on all sorts of different aspects. And even then, it's not guaranteed. Because genetics. I think genetics play... So when we look at our bloodlines, if we look at that, are our genetics where there's this lacking of nutrients in certain populations, and the more the populations grow around the world, you're going to see more defects.
Yeah.
It's not that they weren't there, it's just that there's more people now and the numbers are more bigger, so therefore these start to pan out. And just because you've got good nashers doesn't mean you have great genetics, because your genetics might be in the realm of cancer.
Yeah, something else is wrong.
Yours might be more in the realm of being susceptible to catching diseases. Yours might be in the realm of this, and this. Brittle fingernails, brittle bones, osteoporosis. That is what it is. So it's just becoming more heightened because there's more of a number. That's what it is. Whether it's just one factor, no. This tells you, we're beyond a shadow of a doubt, that medicine should be tailored to individuality. Not one shoe fits all. And that's what I think it boils down to. That we have this blanket, all one shoe fits all. And it shouldn't be that way. Your healthcare should be tailored to you, based on your genetics, based on your gene pool, based on your mixing. And while we've still got this whole doctor's surgery that we have now, it's good, it's a start, but it needs to start looking into a bit more DNA, bit more gene pool. We need to be having a look a little bit more into this. And then you need a tailored doctor's program for that. So your treatment is going to be very different to the next person's treatment. Radiation works for you, but it ain't going to work for you, you, and you. Now we've got to find something else. It gets very complicated, doesn't it? But again, you can see why you have one shoe fits all, because it's way too hard, right? One thing is going to respond for you, and that is going to change over time. Because if you get with someone who is stronger and you have a child, you are altering that gene pool.
Yeah.
That's the way it works. So you are strengthening and you are also weakening. But where you are strengthening in one aspect, you are weakening in another.
Yeah.
Where you are weakening in one, you're strengthening in another.
Yeah.
I always said it. One of the best date sites that you could have is one that knows, so you know, like Ancestry. It's a really good baseline, that. But could you imagine having one tailored based on your DNA profile? Do relationships work out of we've lost touch of I am moving off topic, but again, it's still very much in hand. Are relationships based upon your humans are very complicated things. We pair up a little bit. But you see lovebirds pair up with one another and seem to make quite good. But do humans want to pair up like a lovebird? And is there something that they can read within one another that we've lost touch of? Or do we need to align to something to sort of make a bit more enhanced relationships? If you think about it,
Yeah, maybe.
can more successful relationships be more than just, well, these ones worked okay? Or could it be that there is some level of genes? The genes just work. Do you think it's all mental? Or, because clearly not, because if it was, then all therapists would be able to fix all people. And then I wonder if I always wondered this, whether, why would there be a massive database that the government want? Not saying it's the government, not saying it's the king, but I always often looked at it because I look at things like this, that what's all this harvesting for? We got to take your blood when you're born, or we do this, or we take that, but we're not looking. But then could that help to strengthen your family? Why would this be necessary to start collecting this data back then to now? Yeah, do you understand? Yeah, so I'm not criticizing, I'm not saying it is. Conspiracy alert, trigger alert, whatever. It's not what I'm saying, but is there something in this genes that make stronger relationships? And as a result, do you make stronger genes? Do your children's children then become more better? Or do you become more worse? And then if two people get together who have shared characteristics, bad teeth on one side, bad teeth on another side, is that a guarantee that you're going to have bad teeth throughout your history? And that's why some generations have it, some don't, some do, some don't, some do, because they're strengthening. And are we all about what we eat, as what we've been told? So everything you shovel in your mouth, your body gets all the nutrients from there? Or is it part of the nutrients is upheld by what you eat, but it comes from your genes, your DNA?
Yeah, it's probably
Part of mum's,
how
part
you-
of dad's.
Yeah.
And when these combine, that's where you're getting your, let's say, more of your nutrients from. And then you eat to keep bumping it up, as opposed to once it depletes, it's gone. But once it's gone, it's gone. I don't think that you can replace this, much like the plant. If you put it in good soil, it's not guaranteed that it's going to grow properly, because you get some that just sort of start to take and wither away. So what's that about? And then you can say, then, is it the seed, or is it the soil? Is it the light? Oh, it must be the soil. Well, all these took in the soil, just not these ones. And then certain types of soil ratio, I've noticed with certain, when it starts to show signs of wilting or anything else, and a few of them do within it, we just say, oh, that's just natural selection, the strongest will survive. But yeah, if you get these in a hurried sort of way, when they're starting to churn out, let's say, and you change the soil composition and the water pH, if you want to say that, and you put them in a different composition, these then go on to be very successful. But they would have died if they stayed in the... I mean, it's being aware of this stuff. Everybody's looking, and everybody just easy way out. It's just natural selection. It's not natural selection. That is not natural selection at all. That if I can change the soil composition, why do these ones then take off? Well, they would have died in that soil composition, but the rest, majority of them, loved that soil composition. But for whatever reason, a third didn't like that. If you get it quick enough and put it in there, oh, okay, this one seems to be kind of taken off now. Okay, and all of them seem to be taken off, and it's weird how characteristically, eerily similar they all are. Again, if you don't play around with stuff like this in your world, in your environment, you will automatically go the easy route. Do you know what the easy route is? Tunnel fucking vision. And do you know what else is on tunnel vision? Natural selection. It's just natural selection. Yeah, it's just this, and this. So again, there's a lot here that we can just overlook and dumb ourselves down because we can't be bothered or don't want to, or pig ignorance or whatever it is, because we don't want to look at it. We don't want to see it. We don't want to experiment with that. So yeah, doctors are good generically fixing a broken arm. Yes, generically doing this, and this, and all one shoe fits all kind of makes sense in that. But then if one of us get a cold and somebody else gets a cold and everybody else gets a cold, or whatever it may be, one remedy works for someone. Another remedy works for somebody else.
Yeah.
But when you switch these up, have you ever tried this when you get a cold? I tried it, it didn't work. I had no effect on me. Is it because I didn't believe it enough? Or is it just because that just did not work for me? Because it's not what my family would do in those times.
Yeah, not absorbing the way for your body, for your genetics.
But I find some really strange things do work for me. And then I can shake off it pretty much quickly. But when following this one shoe fits all, it doesn't work.
Yeah, I know.
There's hit and miss about it. It sort of does and it doesn't. So there was this one lady I knew, paracetamol didn't work for her. But a type of flower, I know it by look, but I don't know it by name. Never really took the time to study it. But when she eat this certain plant, headache gone. But just not that. Is that her belief in it, or that just works for her? That particular plant works for her. It's like trying to accept that around a whole planet of different plants in different areas, and then you'd have to know where you came from. Around your area, you've got types of plant that are eerily similar to the types of plants that are here, with the same sort of chemical composition. Similar, not exactly the same. And you've grown up on those. Whereas here, if I was in this area, and family generations have been in this area for ions and ions, they've grown up with this one. None of these two are identical. There's slightly difference in what they've got and what else is mixed with them. If you'd have chewed it, swallowed it, if it was a root, if it was a branch, you grew up with that. So your medicine is going to be completely different to the medicine that is here. But yet when we go and make a chemical version, sorry pharmaceutical, but when we go and make a chemical version, it's one blueprint that fits all.
Yeah.
You wonder why it doesn't work, but it works for some but not others. Really, that needs looking at.
Yeah. With that.
If you ever want to be a successful species, this needs looking at.
Yeah.
Because you've got to ask the questions then. It must be because everyone's eating sweets. That's why your teeth are really bad. That's interesting. Do you know what? My sister used to eat sweets, nothing but sweets. I got a twin sister, yeah? Doesn't mean anything really that you're identical or anything like that. Nor does it with my brothers. But anyway, so, and they are identical. Weird. But still, she used to gnash through tons of sweets. I was not allowed them because everybody said I was hyperactive. So I was withdrawn all sweets. I was allowed fruit. She didn't get bad teeth. I did. She's a sweet binger. I hope she doesn't mind me saying that, but there you are. I don't think she would really care. Which sister? I said twin. Oh, okay, that narrowed it down. But anyway, so there's how come there was that? How come there's this side of it?
Yeah.
See, there's my mum that questions that. Of course, she used to eat nothing but bloody sweets. You didn't. She got better teeth than you did. Now you tell me what that's all about. That definitely argues in the negative of, or the opposite to what is being commonly believed.
That's just poor excuse from dentists to say that sweets cause all of that.
Right, so then there's tailored diets then, isn't there? There's what you've grown up eating. Your evolution, how far back you go back.
Yeah, whatever chemicals are in the foods these days, and whatever you can absorb or cannot absorb because of your genetics.
I mean, an obvious one, if we all were to drink acid. Literally acid. I'm on about the shite that burns through wood and stuff, but it does it slower. Some of it's fast. But anyway, if we were to all push this on our teeth, I'm sure that would have a detrimental effect. Oh, and she was all for the fizzy drinks. I wasn't. I was allowed tea. Perhaps tea steals nutrients from your... Yeah, I was a tea baby. Anyway, I grew up, everyone gave me tea. I was very caffeinated. Lots of tea. Tea, 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 tea. Tea for tea.
Tea for tea. I think that causes hyperactivity as well. So
Yeah, well, yeah, again, I wasn't allowed coffee because it made me nuts, apparently. Right, you are.
But one coffee or liters of tea.
I was not allowed fizzy drinks.
Yeah.
I was not allowed lemonade. I was not allowed Coke. I was not allowed any of that. My sister was, and she was allowed sweets. I was not. Hyper.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I was growing up drinking tea. I was allowed squash, certain squash. I wasn't allowed concentrates. So anything with tartrazine in it, I couldn't have. Orange juice made me come out in hives. Not natural orange, not fresh pressed orange, but high concentrated orange made me react. And also squash. Certain squash, I couldn't have squash. So it was tea, water, or pure stuff. So there is a massive difference in our diet straight up. And there's a difference in teeth. And what you're being told is completely opposite to what she is and Asha.
Yeah.
But the difference is between me and her, she has been able to see a dentist. So there's part of that too. There's a little bit of this. And some people will say that it's not due to a dentist. They're arguing about it. You'll see them start to fall about. But that's because the dentists say, the reason why your teeth are like this is because you haven't come to see a dentist. So if they've been told that, they're going to fight that belief because they've been told it. Others are going to be told it's because you haven't brushed your teeth properly because you are seeing a dentist. So ones that are seeing a dentist regular are probably being told it's because you're not brushing properly. Ones that haven't seen a dentist are being told by the dentist that it's because you haven't seen a dentist for a long while. That's why your teeth are being this way. We also know that diseases also affect the teeth. Underlying diseases that haven't made themselves aware. Diseases are very strange things, right? You can carry a disease for a very long time and then start suffering at a certain time. When we take it like HIV, I think that most of them share this characteristic. You can have it, take a blood test, do all the rest of it, but it doesn't show up. It only shows when it starts. And you could have, I was once at a hostel and there were needles under the carpet.
Mm-hmm.
And I was in barefoot and I trod on one,
Yeah.
maybe two. I don't know. So I had to go and get this sort of checked out, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they were helping me understand that it won't show up. It might take 3 months, it could take a year, it could take several years before this will even show up.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, I'm confused. So why the urgency for me to come here and get checked then if this won't show up? Because you would have to keep having successions of checks, and I'm just like, oh my days.
But
Oh my
even if
days.
you go first time, when nothing shows, then it's still questionable, isn't it?
So that's a very interesting thing. So I don't know why people would put them under a carpet for, how long they've been there, no idea. But even still. And again, if that is a disease and that's characteristic, and I don't think it's because I did some diving into this, it struck a chord with me. I was quite fascinated with that you can have something but it not show up until it starts, until it activates within your system. Then it shows up. Then they know whether you have it or you don't have it, or you have this or you don't have that. I honestly was under the illusion that it was just go and get a blood test and that's it. Magic. Oh, no. Not that simple. So, again, there's that carrying. You will suffer it, but you'll carry it for a while. It's potential that you can carry it.
Yeah.
And then it erupts in your system, which I found fascinating. Perhaps now technologies have evolved since then, but even still, very strange sort of thing to understand, to be honest. That was quite something. I was a bit taken back by that. So again, and then if you can have a disease underlying but it not show its head, then it's going to be sucking nutrients from your body in order to exist inside your body.
Yeah.
Man, however invisible that may be. Now, maybe I was misinformed, but I wouldn't think a hospital would misinform me.
No, I don't think they will.
And another one is they'll say that you have a disease, this, and this. But yet trying to find the fucking thing. It's almost elusive. But yet it erupts. But try and find it. So, and collecting these records throughout my life. There are sometimes some things that are a bit strange. Neutrophil levels are really spiked. And other times they're not spiked. So, again, very weird. Very strange. Yeah, and certain things are just very strange like that, I think. So, but it's not living in you rent free.
Yeah.
That's clearly living off of you. Very parasitic, which is what it is. Technically, a disease is a parasite, which is a weird way to look at it, but to me, it's a parasite. And then if you do have parasites, are they feeding off of your nutrition or are they getting their own?
No, they are feeding of yours. That's why they are in you.
So, I think that science is on a threshold, is moving in the right direction. I think medicine is moving in the right direction, but I think it needs to be more tailored. And finding that out probably when you're younger helps you when you're older. And it helps take the heartache out of treatments and different things like that. And in fact, it actually puts more treatments on the table. Because I was honestly looking at this placebo effect as well.
Yeah.
But couldn't find the correlation with animals. That some animals on medication get better and some animals on medication do not. So, but animals don't believe the same way we believe.
Yeah, for them, tablet has no meaning.
Yes.
For us, tablet
Well, it's an
is
inconvenience to
medication
them. Actually,
or something.
they don't want to take it.
Yeah, they don't understand even that it would be something like medication or something to make them better. It's just some
weird thing that you baldies are doing.
Yeah. It's usually hard, disgusting, and makes no sense to eat it, like eating stone or something. Blech.
Or they regurgitate it when you give it to them.
Yeah.
No matter how many times you give it. I don't know if I had pets that regurgitate this sort of stuff. After you can give it to them, you're like, ah, yeah, victory.
Yeah, ate it with the food, and then bleh, and only the tablet went out, and all the food was eaten.
So, is there a feeling? They don't like the feeling. Again, these don't like the feeling. So, are side effects about placebo and your belief in it, or is it more along the lines of, because again, cat's not going to sit there and make believe a load of sort of vibration or don't like this feeling. So, I mean, dogs are a bit more compliant and have been bred to be this way. Dogs have been bred for an agenda, to be compliant, to be dumb in essence. If you will take them from their intelligent species, breed them, and certain way you breed them. And you also know that when you look at dogs in this, that when you breed them in a certain direction, you get compliance. You also get a ton of health problems if you get it wrong in the breeding program. And again, that can't be unpicked afterwards. Well, it kind of can, because you can cancel it out by keep breeding. But mainly what you get is deaf, dumb, and obedient. So again, you can leave a window open, so the story goes. And if there was a cat, it would go out and hunt for itself. But if it was a dog, it wouldn't.
Yeah, but
it would
still,
stay waiting out of this thing called loyalty
but still give them tablet and they won't like it.
Yeah, probably. But would they be more aware of that because they've been sort of, in my understanding of a dog, they're quite dumb. They've been dumbed down. Yes, there's intelligences. Yes, I understand that they can sniff this and they can find. Yeah, okay. But compared to their what we class as intelligence, not, you can get a machine to do that. It must be intelligent, but considering where they come from, that is intelligent. As far as I'm concerned, this is intelligent. If you want something that's intelligent, you get something like this. So, and then, so, I don't know, bit weird for me. But that crossbreeding, mixed breeding, crossbreeding, mixed breeding, crossbreeding. It's kind of weird to me. And then if you have different species that have different ailments with them, they all need treating slightly different. And why do they need treating slightly different? What type of breed is that, says the vet? Veterinary seems to be more advanced than human doctors, like working for humans. Because, it's this species, it's quite common that they're going to have this issue with their hips, right? We'll watch that. They're also going to have a bit of this, and this.
Yeah.
This is the type of sort of doctoring we need for humans, but we don't have it. We tend to just have this one shoe fits all, which if you look at vets, that would be like treating everyone the same. They don't, because they understand that there are differences, but they understand that there are differences within the species themselves. So you're going to treat a cat the same way you treat a dog, to the same way you're going to treat a horse? No. And then inside those species, are you going to treat this breed of dog this way, or are you going to treat it this way? And then are you going to be looking out for health concerns that you already know are going to come because of that type of breed, because of those genetics, because of that breeding program? But then we look at humans and it's like, meh, one shoe fits all. So, and I think this is where it's at. And I think then if we just sit on that and rest on it, it's like, meh. Well, which is it, ladies and gentlemen? Is it because you don't brush your teeth enough? Is it because of this? No, it's because you don't see a dent. No, it's because no, I think it's got something it's a bit more complex than that. Entanglement, genetic entanglement. And then, what plants were you eating before you took these chemicals? Where did you grow up? Where have your family come from? Why has that got anything to do with it? Let's not get offended on this. Let's look at it as a way that you've been in a certain area. There would have been certain plants available to you. You would have started here. Every human has started when you go back. They would have taken medicines that were more from plants. And then these plants were a certain ratio that was different to the ones over here. And if you bring those plants and put them here, they grow in a complete different way to what they do over there. Take birches, for example.
Yeah.
As big, so little. It's exactly the same.
Yeah.
If you've got a birch tree in a more warmer climate, the thinner the skin.
Mm-hmm.
The more colder the climate, the thicker the skin.
Yeah.
So thick that birch you can make a canoe with. But here in Britain, you cannot make a canoe from a birch tree. It's too thin.
Yeah.
Like paper almost.
Yeah, it is. You can peel it, can't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
In other climates, you can't do that. So therefore, there is a change in the tree's genetics. If this tree starts going wrong, are you going to treat it the same way you do in a colder climate? No, of course not, because it's a completely different tree, although the same species, but it's learnt to adapt in a different way in order to exist here, so it's changed its ratio.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Therefore, there is a difference.
Yeah.
And what it requires is different. The soil composition is different. It's not also down to the temperature, it's also down to the soil composition. It's very different over there than what it is here.
Yeah.
Here we got more microorganisms that are alive a lot more of the year, therefore there's more of them. And then when it comes colder weather, they die off and, next year this is running away in the soil. In colder climates, it is not like that. You've got a very brief amount of time for microorganisms to exist, therefore they don't cause as much nutrients to go back into the soil, therefore non-existent.
Yeah.
Almost.
Yeah.
So it's a slower process. So therefore, there's a different type of treatment program going on. Soil's treating them very differently. The environment is treating them very differently. Then when we take a plant from over there that might have medicine properties and bring it here, it changes. It changes it. And then if you did bring that from back in the times of when your ancestors came, they moved these plants with them, we're taking the medicine with us. Roots and all. We're having seeds and the roots, we take the lot. I'm going to plant it here. This looks like a good place to set up camp. Okay, we're staying here. We just walked 50,000 miles, but, a ridiculous amount of miles, really. But, we've walked this far. We're settling here. This plant, again, is going to change the chemical. Why is this not working anymore? Why is this not as much as it... Well, because you've removed it from where you got it from and where you had originally...
Yeah, comes from elsewhere.
You've changed the properties. It's now got different soils, now got different temperature, now different pressure.
Yeah.
And you see, nature will come back into the medicine industry. It will, because different areas, you'll have medicines, pharmaceuticals that were herbalists would get to this pretty quickly, that they would know that plants respond in different climates differently. And therefore, this one over here is where it's more native, might have a bit more oomph for the populist, especially if we were grouped or tribed around there. This is more of a better medicine than the one that's here. But this one here has altered somewhat, but it might be a bit more mild, might be a bit more stronger, might even lose its medicine property altogether. It's not going to give you the identical chemical ratio because of the stuff that goes into making that chemical ratio is not the same now. And then you have tailored medicine rather than one shoe fits all. Wouldn't it be so easy, life? Wouldn't it be so easy if life was that simple, right? It's like a fairy tale. Right? Open the book and let's have a look at this fairy tale, shall we? It's almost like we believe we're living in a fairy tale, that it's just that simple. Magic wand. It's that easy. Life's hard, apparently. Well, from where I'm standing, you seem to think it's pretty fucking easy. It's just as simple as that. This chemical will work for all of you. Why is it not working for some but it is for others? Perhaps they don't believe it. Perhaps it's the mind. Maybe this is a placebo effect. Is it? Is it a placebo effect, or is it that your belief in it?
Don't know. I always had my doubts about medications.
Yeah, I think everyone feels the same way, to be honest, but none of us are allowed to talk about that. No one's allowed to talk about it because, that's naughty.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry, it's almost like we've got another sort of layered secret in society that you're not allowed to talk about. Because this truth might, it's going to do two things. One, it's going to have a lot of doubt, or two, it's going to bring a lot of change. Either one is not wanted. You want to keep it right here, because that piece of the furniture looks really great there. Yeah, it's almost like everything's placed. Got to have the tradition, got to have the belief, got to have this. So it's going to do two things. One, it's going to cause disbelief and doubt and everything else, and then it falls down this way, and then suppress, you will believe this.
Yeah.
Or two, it's going to cause change. I like to think that it would cause change. Personally, for the better, for everybody. Because you know what? We're all in this fucking soup. There ain't no getting away from it. And maybe if you do realise this, maybe they do know. And money has the way.
Maybe.
You never know. Again, there's multiple ways that I can look at this. None are true, and all could be true. And one could be true. So you take your pick. So we can't give it to everybody because, you know, there's this belief that everyone thinks that it's like what I've seen growing quite a lot in numbers is population control.
Yeah.
Some people are really high in it. The numbers are massive, really big in that sort of belief system there. You know, it's concerningly growing in that aspect.
Yeah.
So yeah, if I can shine a light on that and just use a quick bit of brain into that. I don't even know how long this has been going on for. Let me guess, 1:09. Is this 1:09, give or take? I don't know, maybe not that long.
41 minutes.
Oh, near enough. But yeah, so I'm probably going to leave it here because it's not my most favourite subject in the world, but it is something that I have noticed.
Yeah.
There, I'll put it towards you. I got thinking about this when I was looking at toothpaste and how bloody sweet it was. Why is all this sweet? The mouthwash, oh, it's really sweet. Why is it so freaking sweet?
Yeah. Some of them are terribly sweet.
Yeah, and then I heard that someone was saying, "Oh, alcohol, with alcohol." And then I sort of studied alcoholics,
Yeah.
thinking, "You must have the best teeth in the world." I'm serious. If you're using it as a mouthwash,
And they don't, do they?
some do. Some got fucking pearly white gnashers.
Yeah.
Yeah, again, this is weird. You know, break the ice. My teeth aren't great. Can I ask you a question? Yeah, sure. People are really willing to talk to you. Really willing to talk to you. Really willing. Sorry, I just got my words muddled then. You know, break the ice with, you know, mine are pretty bad. I'm just trying to, you know, figure something out. Oh, yeah, of course, what do you want to know? But it's regarding teeth. If you feel comfortable enough to tell me, I won't shame you. I won't say your name, or if you don't feel so. No, that's cool. Well, I did have pretty good teeth until I started just drinking rah, this, that, and the other. Yeah, a few other things happen as well along that factors. So yeah, it kind of got me a bit confused then that how does alcohol mouthwash work if it doesn't work in this aspect? And then wine was supposed to be better, but alcohol and this, and I just kind of then was like, so that's obviously not working either, is it? Toothpaste and toothbrushes, I'm sure they're helping. I'm sure it all helps somewhere along the line, but it's not the fix that you want because there is differences, and then people are beginning to argue about it because something's not right. And I agree with them; it isn't. You're absolutely right to have this feeling, but the targeting each other is you're never going to come together and figure this out unless you look at this. Put your scientific hats on. You've got it. Everyone's got it. And let's just have a look at this inwardly rather than argumentatively with one another. And let's see where we can go with it. Because you never know, we could bring out some really good changes that change the way medicine is known, the way treating teeth decay. And wouldn't it be nice if we all live in a world where health concerns start to drop off? Or at least there's a breaking even in this. There's a, Because I think that is then something that you can be proud of, because then you're really putting back into that, aren't you? You're pushing back against what nature is, you know, or default and whatever. Perhaps the genes are just begging us to just pay attention to this, right? Will you just look at this? Do you guys stop arguing with each other? Just look! Look at what? This. You know, as soon as you start getting this right, the genes are going to be like, all right, we can get on with evolution or something else, or, you know, we got energy to do something else now, you know? Finally, they worked it out. You know? But fighting each other, I don't think it's going to work that way. If we were at each other's throats. That's because I brush my teeth more than you. That's because I brush my teeth less than you. That's because I have alcohol. That's because I do this. That's because I do that. I also found the nutrients as well related to ash. There was another thing that our ancestors were doing as well when we go back in time. Not saying that this is a be-all and end-all, but again, evolution and time were doing this sort of stuff. There was an awful lot of ash in stuff. Although this creates an acid and a lye solution at the same time, they were burying meat in ash pits.
Yeah.
And the reason why they were using ash as opposed to hot embers is because it didn't burn. You gotta understand, you behave differently when you know that that is your meal.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of things back then that they would have been hyper vigilant on, which was if I put it on top
Yeah.
and get distracted, or I have to defend myself,
Yeah.
I'm going to be eating charcoal.
Yeah.
But if I smother out the oxygen and put it into the ash, it will still cook, but it's less likely to burn. Plus, it wouldn't have smelled through the air as much. Again, cooking meat.
Hidden. Yeah.
Cooking meat. You don't want to be drawing attention to yourself.
Yeah. By other people or
You know, you've
animals.
got some people that were hunting
Yeah.
and some people that were stealing other people's hunts
Yeah.
while they were cooking it. I don't think they were eating it raw. Personally, I do not think they were. But that wafting fruit, you've got a lot of animals who are going to pick up on that. So, I think they're a bit more stealthier than All Out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's sobering. You had bastards back then. Yeah. Do you know what I mean, right? Come on, you did. You had thieving bastards back then. So, you know, forgive me, but yeah, I'm off. So, yeah, there we are.